How do? It's time for Spider and Old Scooter again. The umpteenth variation in the format. Because we're going to find a good one of these days and stick with it. I'm Old Scooter. You can tell by the scooter hat that I have on. This, of course, is Spider Max, Spider McGillicuddy. She's the artificial intelligence that thoroughly whoops me most frequently. We're here to play the game, and I'm here to make up some stuff that I said I would do last game and didn't, one of which is read a Maxim from La Rochefoucauld, the main Maxim man, if you will. But let's get started with the game, see what happens when I do that. Isn't that clever? New game, 2 suits, and off we go to the races. This is the default version of Spider Solitaire, as comes on the 2014 Macintosh, the iMac, which is what I've got here, what I'm playing on. Heaven knows what comes these days. I just can't keep up. So, I'll start right away by leaping across the color line. That did me no particular good, so I'll put it back. How about this one? Oh, there's a play. Yeah. Not a great play, not many plays, but a play. So I'll take it here on the first deal. I take pretty much anything I can get my hands on. I talked to a friend of mine this morning. He was over here, as a matter of fact, picking up wood. We did some thinning on our land over the last few years, and we have great piles of logs. So he who needeth logs and knoweth me is fixed. So he came over. And I was talking about Spider Solitaire, which he also plays. And he said, do you play the 4-suite version or the 2-suite version? And of course I said, it's suits, of course. I just can't help myself. That's no good. I don't need it. I can take it back. Didn't cost me a thing to do that. Well, he said, I said, oh yeah, 4 is, too complicated. Takes too long, too hard. And he said, yeah, I almost always beat 2 suits. You always win playing 2 suit? Yeah, he said. So I picked up some more logs that were too heavy for me to lift, threw them in disgust at myself, I must say, that I don't win all the time. And he says, I spend the time it takes. I go back, I back up, I start over. It's just like my sister Mandy, who wants me to play that way. But I don't have the patience for it. So I don't. I play it this way. And I still don't win most of the time, like he said. His name is Eric. Eric the Smart. Eric the Better Than Me. True. The man is, I don't know, he's in his mid-50s, and he still rides bicycles like those Hotter Than Hell 100 guys do, and he plays tennis. He's on a team. He's in great, great shape, which I'm not. I'm not in bad shape, but he's in great shape, and he beats this game all the time. So I have found my rationales. I've forgiven myself my lack of wonderfulness at playing this game. So I have gotten slightly better. You don't hear me singing that stupid song so often from making the common mistake of using the Auto Move app and having it go where I didn't want it to, and having to pay $1 and sing that stupid song. And I don't do it much or as much anymore. It still happens. My rate of improvement is a measured, steady pace. If I did that, then I could do this, right? Yeah. Always trying to cut into the thin blue line. You can't win without the thin blue line being decimated. I'm not typically into decimation, but sometimes, before we're halfway through the game, I've made no scores, obviously. I have not punched a single hole in the thin blue line. And how often is that the diagnosis of the situation at about this point in the game? So I'll stop and read you a Maxim. This is from my Maxim book. Poor thing is falling apart. I use a pair of tweezers now as a page marker because anything tougher Look at the top there. See, it's coming apart. Poor old book. I don't know when it was published. François Duc de la Rochefoucauld, who was the main Maximist, and the guy who I think started this business. I could be wrong, but 16-something. I was looking at the mess that was politics yesterday, and I was looking at various politicians, and I was just feeling depressed, and I found this Maxim. It's Maxim 66, short and sweet. A clever man ought to so regulate his interests that each will fall in due order. Our greediness so often troubles us, making us run after so many things at the same time, that while we too eagerly look after the least, we miss the greatest. Ain't that the truth? You deserved a Maxim. I promised you one. You got it. I read the Maxims now and again when I'm moved by inadequacy of language to express my amazement at what's going on, which is exactly what I'm feeling these days. Now, which 5 should I put on that 6? Do you care? I can put this 6 over here, this 9 down here, and now I have to make the decision. Which 5? I can uncover this little 10 stack, which is kind of nice, or a queen. I think I'll go the 10 stack way. So, what am I talking about? There you go. Now I have a 7 string, ace on the bottom, makes it a string. Oh, I've made up a new rule for this game. I'm going to allow myself to fade, to fold them, to drop out, to quit. Because as you know, this is a gambling game. And what kind of gambler doesn't have the option of folding? You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Did I just hit my mic? Hope I didn't make a huge noise in your ear. And I'll show you. The decision has to be made before you see what's in the last deal. You're going to stick with it, go fight to the bitter end, or you're not. I think that's going to add a certain pizzazz to the game. Not that this game needs any extra pizzazz. It's a hot game. I love this game. It's simple enough that I can blather on while gaming, yet complex and subtle enough. I didn't want to do that. I'll take it right back. We've had the discussion about take it back, haven't we? You'll know about it only if you've been binge-watched the games. Who would do that? Well, I know at least a couple of guys who've done it. They're both guys. They're both friends. You might not be a guy, and you're probably not a friend of mine. You probably never heard of me before. You stumbled across this strange website. I mean YouTube channel. Got to keep my terms straight. This is sort of Twitch for old people. I'm an old person. If 80 qualifies for old, I got it down pat. And we do talk about the occasional elderly subject on here. I could go on about elbows. What's that? Oh, this is one of my hats. I'll wear it again. I've had requests for rewears of my hairnet. And of course, I'm without hair, so there's a certain built-in irony. So I do this and this and this in a fit of brazen activity. See, I'm taking chances in hopes of improving my fortunes, and that, goys and burls, is gambling. Of course, there's no real money involved here, but virtual money can have almost as much fun and stress as real money. And I'm not talking bitcoins and what's that new one, Ether? I'm talking virtual money, you know, thought money. Yeah. I was going to also mention in my last game, and didn't, that I saw an interview I really liked. David Sedaris was interviewed by, Jeffrey Brown on PBS, on the NewsHour. If you're a David Sedaris fan, and if you read the New Yorker, like You know I do. You gotta be a David Sedaris fan. He's a bunch of other stuff too, of course. Performer, comedian, wit, writer, Renaissance dude. And I'm kind of a fan, and he was interviewed rather well, I thought, by PBS. They're pretty good at interviewing. And pretty good these days is top of the heap. I see some awful interviews. I know I'm really prejudiced about what makes a good interview, but I was spoiled by great interviewers in days of yore. I about yored myself into... I had decided, I didn't say anything about it, but I had decided to not fold them, to hold them. And that was a big mistake. Have I got everything else I wanted to say? Of course, Ossoff lost in Georgia. And the Democrats are all depressed, I read. Well, they did set a record, and that is the number of emailed solicitations with weird headlines to us, who might occasionally give something to the Democratic cause. But I mean, we got 3, 4, 5 emails a day from the Ossoff campaign with headlines like, Ossoff loses, and the next one would be, Ossoff wins. And I never quite figured out what they were doing. I'm sure they know. No, I'm actually not sure they know. Well, since there's very little else to do, I'll make the final gasps. Oh yeah, the Russians and the Americans, military aircraft are buzzing each other and causing fear and trepidation all about. We could be on the edge of war. That's not the edge I prefer to be on, although I like some edges. I dearly hope we have the sanity to avoid war. Doesn't seem like it would take an incredibly sane person to do that, but you know what I'm talking about, Jack. So that's about it for this one. It's been a joy. I hope you like the new format. See, I can, since I'm done, I've lost, it's all over, Jack. I'll go back to menu, then do this, and this, and there's the original format again. Isn't that clever? You can see all of my book plugging. This is really kind of a book plug channel in one regard. I'm using a different camera than usual because the camera I normally use just can't handle these bright lights up here. This camera makes me look tan, which I'm not. I'm just badly lit. I'm sure you find that stimulating information. Take it easy, take care of yourself, and keep your chin up.